Let's take you to KwaZulu-Natal now, and this is where social workers from the Lifeline are marching to the legislature to Pietermaritzburg to demand answers over delays in gender-based violence cases. Among the challenges on the ground is that KZN does not have a DNA forensic laboratory, which ultimately delays the justice process. Karinda Jagmohan is monitoring that story for us, and she joins us now. Karinda, good morning to you. What can the legislature do in this regard?
The marchers have come to the legislature and they want to ensure that those sitting at the seat of legislature can deploy their political will to have finances come through, especially with regard to the departments of community safety, where there is quite a need at this point for issues to be heard, especially like you mentioned, the fact that KwaZulu-Natal does not have a DNA lab, which is hampering the justice process. When there are criminal cases to be investigated, the DNA evidence from KwaZulu-Natal must be sent to head offices in Pretoria. So, of course, this is also a work to police for them to ensure that they can actually have their offices regarding DNA labs set up once again in KwaZulu-Natal. My colleague Lungelo Zungu will show you the crowd behind me as they stand here. They've been marching through Pietermaritzburg for quite some time now to speak about some of the issues they have been facing, and we'll speak to some of them as well. Let's speak to you, ma'am. Of course, today you have joined this march. Tell us for you, what is the major issue you want politicians at the legislature to hear?
I think for me it's just a thing of we need to stop having to ignore the fact that this is a pandemic. We tend to push it under the carpet for the longest time and only start paying attention to victims once they become victims. Why don't we fix the problem before it becomes a huger problem, you know? So I think today that's what we want to try to put out there to say, you know what, we're tired. I mean, as much as we might say that this thing has been done so many times, but that's how we communicate, we protest in South Africa, and if we have to do that, if we need to march, it's a peaceful march, but we need them to know that we want something to be done.
Is 16 days of activism, is this week even enough for the pandemic we face in South Africa?
I think this is a pandemic that we need to constantly fight. 16 days is not going to fix it, but every day it's a struggle for us, and every day we're going to make sure that we make as loud noise as possible.
At this time when we are seeing so many incidents happen in KwaZulu-Natal, in Pietermaritzburg, what is your message to women, to survivors?
I would definitely say the fact that you still have the chance to get up, do it 10 times harder. Whatever happened to you in the past does not determine who you are, but how you have to take on the situation in front of you determines your character. Therefore, I'm not going to say that it was easier before. What I can definitely tell them is that you're much stronger than who you were before.
Your name is Karinda?
Luyanda Zuma.
Thank you so much, ma'am. There you have it. A message as well to survivors of gender-based violence to keep fighting. It's a very big issue here. You'll see even some wearing signs on their face as well to just demonstrate the pain that many women have felt over the past 2 years. Over this month, we have covered dozens of cases of gender-based violence, the most recent of which was in Umlazi, where an 18-year-old girl, a matric pupil, was beaten just outside her school by a gang of schoolboys, and she cannot write her matric exams this year because she has to undergo surgery to her spinal cord because of that attack. She was accused of stealing a phone, but the issue went on beyond the fact that she identifies as lesbian and she has been bullied for this. So these attacks have been happening in all sectors of society. We are seeing in Pietermaritzburg, we have seen a number of such cases, and that is why the women of Pietermaritzburg, as you have seen them here, have gathered today. And over the next hour, we're going to speak to more of the women who are here, many of whom are survivors of gender-based violence and social workers who have been working with the survivors and experiencing some of the issues on the ground when they try to search for justice.
Karinda Jagmohan, very, very important conversations to be had around the issue, the scourge of gender-based violence. It is pandemic #1 in the country, as I remind you of the words of the President.